Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by faculty Sushma Ketan. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? What is the reason behind your copper's latest fall? Now before we get into the video, if you're someone who enjoys local news, national news, international news, then do subscribe to Legacy IS Academy channel. We provide deep insights into each of these topics. Now let's get back into the topic. Copper's latest fall. Can it be because of your triggering West Asian conflict? Now the question will come as to if copper is falling, why is it linked to your West Asia conflict and why is copper prices falling in the first place? Now first I'll tell it to you like a small story before we see where copper is used. First and foremost, we'll speak about the price range. 2025. Okay. In all of 2025, the prices of copper was increasing. The prices of copper was increasing to a level that was highest since your 2009 levels. So it was growing well. Why? One of the reason was your US President Donald Trump had imposed and levied huge amount of taxes on copper tariffs. Now, because of in this fear, what happened? Many people in USA started procuring and buying copper in large quantities and storing them in warehouses. Why? Because then after August 1st, this tariff was to come into, let's say, it will be applicable. But before this, if you do buy it in large quantities, then you don't have to buy it in after the tariffs have been imposed. So because of this, there was huge demand from your US side in procuring your copper. Now this reddish metal was booming everywhere. Demand was higher. Now because the demand was higher, what was the demand driven from? Because of the fear of your tariff which will be applicable from August 1st. So in that fear that they didn't want to buy later, they started procuring large quantities of copper and storing in the warehouses. So your copper was booming, the prices were booming. Then what happened? In later, by your second half of 2025, prices started falling, but not to a very alarming level. It was fine. And the prices were just, it was like a course correction strategy because it was bought by your a panic buys, right? So that the tariffs rate it would impact more. So now this was going on. The prices were fine and stable up until your 2026 also. More specifically, up until February 28, 2026. What happened in this period of time? USA and its ally Israel went and attacked Iran. Now, after this, according to your London Metal Exchange, the prices of copper kept coming down, plummeting down. Understanding? So badly that it was coming to a very low. Now, usually this red metal copper is called as the barometer of economy. What does this barometer of economy mean? As the copper prices keeps increasing, the economy is also increasing. Economy in sense the demand is increasing, the production is increasing, the economy is going on an upward surge. But if the prices of this red metal, that is your copper, comes down, that means there is a significant fall in the production of the economy. Understanding? So this is what it was. Okay, now we may come to the second part of the question. Okay, so what if your US and Israel hit Iran? What is the issue? See, in this, what we have to observe is your West Asian conflict, that is USA and Israel hitting Iran, has made oil prices extremely costly. If oil prices, that is energy prices, have become extremely costly, then it starts affecting the production of everything. Yes or no? If the production of everything is halted and prime energy is focused only on this, then don't you think the copper production also will decrease? That is, by copper demand also will increase. Second thing under this itself is the chokehold of Strait of Hormuz is for your sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is needed for your copper production. Now with the chokehold of your Strait of Hormuz, which means less sulfuric acid means less production of copper. That is also one more aspect. The third aspect in this is your Gulf countries. Gulf Cooperation Council. In these countries, the demand of this copper has also significantly reduced. Why? Because they are already focused in one thing. So they have halted that production. Understanding? Now we saw as to the prices of copper. Now let's see where exactly is this copper used. Is it really that big of a metal? The answer is yes. Copper is extremely important from household to your manufacturing to your artificial intelligence data centers and also transition energies. And India imports a lot of this. So where exactly do we use copper? Housing, manufacturing, power grids, renewable energy, electric vehicles, AI data centers, defense equipment. So you see copper's function is very largely there in everything. According to London Metal Exchange, in January 2025, that is before your tariffs was to come into picture, that is from August 1st, the price of copper touched whooping $14,527 per ton. This is the highest of all time, breaking your 2009 levels. By February 2025, the decline starts beginning somewhere around 13,343. Post the conflict, that is 2026, it has fallen down to 12,147. This indicates that there is at least a 16.4% drop from your all-time high, and this was triggered because of your West Asian conflict. Why? Again, because the first thing of West Asia was it crunched the oil supply, which drove the oil prices higher, which means manufacturing cost increased, industrial production decreased, copper demand decreased, and thus what happened? It showed on the price. Copper price also decreased. Now, your Strait of Hormuz, whatever we are speaking about, remember I told you the sulfuric acid, the chokehold also has become for this. Yeah. Your Strait of Hormuz is the region where it carries 20% of global energy. That is, world oil is carrying through this. It is located in the north by Iran and south by your Oman. Now, the disruption in this has led to a disruption in the availability of sulfuric acid, which is a key in processing of sulfur. More sulfuric acid, more production of copper. Less sulfuric acid, less production of copper. Now, the demand from your GCC countries, Gulf Council countries, is also reduced. What are these Gulf Council countries? Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Why? Because they are involved in this conflict. So, annual their consumption demand is used to be around 0.8 million tons. But because of the conflict, they have halted the production, which means the demand is also reduced. And also, because the demand is reduced, there is more amount of availability. More the availability, less the price. Next, one more aspect is this is all from the demand side we saw. One more is from the supply side. Supply sides by also 2025 we saw a huge amount of shocks. What are these shocks? One example is, let's say in Indonesia. Indonesia had its mudslide accident in its copper mine. It's world's second largest copper mine. Because of this, they have closed it, which means it is not going to open anytime soon in your 2027. The same is the case with your Chile, and same is the case with your Democratic Republic of Congo. Understanding? Now with this, the global inventories have been higher than your 1 million tons, which is higher than your 2003 levels, which means there is more supply, also price falls. Okay? And the refineries are having excess capacity also. These are also the conditions. Why the price rose earlier, that is 2025 pay, why was the rally? Like we discussed, there was supply disruptions, AI and data centers, weakening US dollars, and also mostly this was triggered because of your US tariffs on coppers, which led buyers to buy the copper in large bulk quantity and store it. So this stockpiling further rallied the prices. If you see with respect to the usage of copper and clean energy, in your green energy transition, we use huge amount of copper. So solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles, battery storage and power transmissions. One important thing if you see is in the critical minerals, copper is extremely important for energy transition, defense system, your electronics, artificial intelligence, urbanization, that is your appliances, battery technology, understanding. Now, one thing about your India is very much dependent on its critical minerals and also its energy. Now, as it is shelling more on the energy, now the prices of this is also okay, like as it is for all the countries. Copper prices are less, but oil prices are higher, which means production is higher, and also production cost is higher. And one more issue is with respect to copper. Right now, the countries are trying to focus on their energy supply, okay, which means they are vulnerable to your disruptions, okay. This means what India needs a strong policy on your mineral security strategy. What are the strategies that government has taken? Critical mineral mission CMM. This will oversee mining partnership and also recycling policy development. That is, if copper, see, I told you supply side also there is issues, which means if more recycling has happened and if it least, then that would create a sense of balance. Okay, so your copper is a barometer for economy is a right word that we can use. Also, the Strait of Hormuz risk has showcased that it is best for a country like India to not put all its eggs in one basket and diversify its needs and try to meet its domestic demands. And the warehouse stocks as of now is a 20-year hike. And also the West Asian conflict coupled with GCC demands have showcased why the slump in your copper prices. At the same point of time, this incident also showcases India's vulnerability on your critical mineral import dependence. So, which means first on first immediately, we need to focus on our domestic policies. Understanding? So that we do not get or there would be a shock absorber in these kind of events further likely to arise. With this, we come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and share it along with your friends. Thank you.